Good morning. The October 30th, 2023 work session for the Douglas County Board of Commissioners will come to order. County Clerk, please take the roll for the record.
Yes, sir. Commissioner, District 1, Ricky Dobbs. I believe he's on his way in now. Maybe not. He's not here yet. District 2, Commissioner Kelly Robinson.
Madam Clerk, present.
District 3, Vice Chair Commissioner Terenia Carthen. Present. District 4, Commissioner Mark Alcaraz.
Present.
Chairman Phil Miller.
I'm here, thank you. Commissioners, are there any changes that need to be made to the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, just a point of order, during the commissioner comments for just discussion, to talk about 2023 legislative bills. We took it off the agenda on Friday for a formal action, but it was supposed to be for a discussion, so I'll bring it up during commissioner comments.
Okay.
County Clerk, you got that?
Yes, sir.
Got it.
Thank you, sir. Any other changes? Being none, the agenda stands approved as presented. As a reminder, each commissioner will have 3 minutes to make remarks and a 2-minute rebuttal. Clerk, did we have anyone to sign up for public comment?
Yes, sir, we did. We had one individual. I will go ahead and just state for the record, though, when you get to the podium, please remember you have 3 minutes to address the board. Once your 3 minutes are up, we'll ask you to wrap up your comments. And when you get to the microphone, please remember to speak directly into it. Restate your name and subject matter. So the first person who signed in was Jose Omise. Jose Omise. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yes, you did. Most people don't.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioners, for giving us the opportunity to speak with you all. I'm representing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and the area of the 3800 block of Chapel Hill Road. The businesses in that area, some of them are aware of our desire to improve the road in that area, as well as the people in the Stone Oak subdivision that enters through Stone Oak Drive. And what we're trying to do is to have a third lane where you can turn in and out either to any of the businesses or to the subdivision. There's been quite a few accidents. My daughter's had one where the bumper of the back of the car was put into the back seat. So the problem is there, and it's not as bad this year as it was a few years back, but it's going to get back. During the Christmas season is when the accidents really happen in that area. So what we'd like to do is to have a turning lane that would be also a merging lane, so that when the people are trying to turn into the businesses or into the chapel area, that they can do so safely. And the traffic can move around them without having any need to stop. So that with that particular situation in mind, and we've noticed when they put the 4 lanes in some of the other areas, they are having accidents also because the people are not stopping for that turning lane situation. But if you have only 3 lanes, the traffic moves a lot more smoothly and a lot easier, and there's less accidents. So we're making that proposal for the commission to consider and to work with. I've talked to Jack Burnside, and he's aware of the circumstances, and he says they're doing some things to start to put a counter in the area to get better information for that area. But at the same time, we wanted to make the commissioners aware that there is a problem and that it could be solved relatively easily, because it's only 3 additional feet that would be needed to be added to the roadway to make the 3-lane combination. I've sent upstairs to the commission office the drawings and the things that apply to that. And Jack Bernstein also has the information. So since I have a limited time and I can't talk about everything, if you just read the information that's on there, you'll be able to have everything that you would actually need. And if I need to come back at another time, let me know and I'll be happy to do that. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Commissioner Robinson?
Yeah, a quick point of order. Director Rana, please make sure you get with our citizen and double back with Vice Chair as well about what was proposed, please. Put that on the list. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Do you have any comments?
No, sir, no other comments.
Okay. We have a customer service presentation by Tiffany Stewart Stanley.
Morning. Give us 1 second as we get pull the presentation up. Good morning, Chairman Miller, Board of Commissioners. I come before you today with an update on some of our customer service initiatives. As we know, one of the pillars of the Douglas Ford 2025 strategic plan is delivering superior customer service. Douglas County is committed to improve service delivery efforts, and we are focused on implementing business process improvements to make for an enhanced customer experience. This year, members of our organizational performance development team were tasked with implementing 2 customer service initiatives under our Douglas Delivers customer service initiatives. The first initiative is was the Performance Management Center. And this Performance Management Center was to display key performance indicators, which are quantifiable measures used to benchmark performance over time. The Performance Management Center is now complete, and we will have updated KPIs for all administrative departments through the 3rd quarter available on November 1st. Citizens will be able to go to celebratedouglascounty.com to see these key performance indicators. And the reasons why the key performance indicators are important, they go under our 6th prong of our strategic plan, which is Transform Douglas County. And some of the things that we are using these key performance indicators to do is to, number 1, continuously improve our process effectiveness. Number 2, be responsible stewards of our county resources. Number 3, leverage technology to modernize our processes and systems. And the 4th is to ensure full utilization of county facilities. So these key performance indicators are imperative in making sure that we deliver superior customer service. And it also provides data, not only for our citizens and our staff, but also for our leaders, our Board of Commissioners, when they go through and make policy and budgetary decisions. So that is our first initiative. The second initiative is our Douglas Delivers Citizen Service Center. This second initiative was to implement an efficient process to facilitate citizens' issues and to provide our constituents with information. As a result, the Douglas Delivers Citizen Service Center has been created. Before our members of our organizational performance development team give brief information on their roles in creating the center and how the center will move forward, I would like to first show how this aligns with our strategic plan. So our center falls under 3 of our objectives for our strategic plan under Transform Douglas County Government. Number 1, again, we want to continuously improve process effectiveness. Number 2, we want to implement a comprehensive approach to consistently solicit citizen feedback on their service experience, and we want to share those results regarding the quality of the county's programs and activities. And 3rd, which I think is very important, we want to strengthen the use of our data-informed decision-making through regular data collection, evaluation, and distribution. So at this time, I will ask our Constituent Service Manager, Ms. Wendy Cotto, to come up and talk about exactly what the Citizen Service Center will be doing for our citizens.
Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you, Chief of Staff. So the Citizen Service Center, what is it? So we have worked to create a new online platform that will be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, where citizens can go and report issues like there's litter, the grass is too tall over here, there's a wild animal roaming free, or they can find other information there. In addition to the online platform, we will have a phone line that will be available for citizens to call into, and that will be open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. So if you have a citizen who may not have access to a computer or whatever the issue is, one of our customer service team will be able to create a ticket for them on the online platform. And that way they won't have to have computer access. They can actually talk to a live person. So let's go to the next one, or maybe we're not going to the next one. What did I hit? Okay, no, I've gone backwards. Thank you. Okay, so currently we have a very generalized approach for citizens when they need to report a concern. So if you go to our website now, there's a little button that says report a concern, and then it'll take you to, you'll have three options. You have an option to report a road condition, you have an option for a code violation, and then there's the general concern form. So with those three forms, they go to three different places, and it's hard to keep all that data in one place. So, you know, it's been very difficult to track when things have gotten completed, who did what, how many road problems are we having, how many code violations are we having. It's just been very difficult to keep up with that. And some citizens find it difficult to report a problem, you know, because of that. How do you know if it's a code violation? Do you have to then go research what code enforcement does to figure out if that's the correct department to report your problem to? So we don't want citizens to feel, you know, like they're left alone. And maybe the biggest issue is 911 gets lots of non-emergency phone calls, which then takes time away from them being able to provide services to the people who really need them. And we have Director Katrina Harley here to just talk a little bit more about that and explain how the Service Center can help to alleviate some of those problems.
Good morning.
Good morning, Board of Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to be here this morning. With 911, we have the governing bodies that kind of regulate and provide statutes on how we do 911. So the National Emergency Number Association, referred to as NENA, annually reports that there are about 240 million 911 calls across the country. Anywhere from 20 to 50% of those calls are not true 911 emergencies. Statistically, within our area, that number hovers anywhere from 25 to 30%. So for instance, we get calls such as one Saturday morning, we got a call, there was a citizen wanting to know what time Youth Against Violence started and where it's held. When we have a large police presence, we'll have citizens to call wanting to know what's going on. And though that's a concern, it's not a 911 emergency because, of course, if there is imminent danger to the community, of course, we have ways and methodologies of letting the community know what's happening. So having a citizen service center would be absolutely beneficial to E911 services because we would keep those lines open for citizens that have true 911 emergencies. Of course, you know, we have a limited number of operators, and so when folks call and they tie up those lines with non-emergencies, then it means that someone with an emergency may have to wait on their call to be answered. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Director Harley. So the Citizen Service Center is going to help us with three major things. So it's going to provide our leaders with the timely information about community issues and desires. So that way each district will be able to know, oh, well, my district is saying the grass needs to be cut more often, or we need to have more street lights here, or whatever it is. And the citizens will be able to easily and effectively access county information. And again, they'll be able to do it 24 hours a day through the online platform, or Monday through Friday, they'll be able to reach a live person. And it's going to reduce those non-emergency phone calls to 911. But I think one of the most important things is the platform is going to keep everything in one place. So we don't have to worry about a code enforcement form and a road form and a general concern form. Everything is in one place. When a ticket is created, our customer service team can go and follow that ticket all the way through. The software collects the data for you, so you can see then how many pothole problems did we have, how many blight problems did we have, how many animal problems did we have. And you have that data right there in one place. So when it comes to making your decisions or trying to decide where we need to allocate resources, or hiring decisions, you can use that to make much better informed decisions. So our vision is to provide everyone in Douglas County, even non-residents, if you are visiting but you see a problem, they can drop a line to us too. We can take their feedback as well. And we want to provide everyone with an accessible and easy way to report a problem. We want to be transparent with our citizens, and we will have a centralized place, one-stop shop for reporting problems or getting other kinds of information that are non-emergency. So this is our Citizen Service Center dashboard, and I believe our GIS manager is going to come up and take us through a brief little presentation on how that'll work. So,
thank you, Tiffany. Good morning, Board of Commissioners. My name is Ed Dean. I am the GIS manager for the county. And I'm just going to take you briefly through it. I'm not going to take you all the way through it. So if I'm going too fast, please, slow me down and, ask questions. And so as Wendy was saying, this is that's about. one step. So as Wendy was saying, the landing page is this website right here. And as you scroll down, it'll give you a brief little, and this is all test data that we've been doing. So right now, we put in 13 requests, we've completed 7, and there's also a customer service survey that's on the back end, so when we complete a request, you can send out a survey, and as soon as the survey hits, this will update. It shows you how it works. Join the community. You don't really have to join the community. You can join the community and submit a ticket, or you can do it as a guest. I'll show you that in just a second. Scroll down. It says submit a request down here. And we got some frequently asked questions that we can go through, and we got more that we're going to do. We're still in the configuration phase of this, so there's some stuff that we're still. So if you would hit the submit a request, you would come to this page. And as you can see, these are the requests that we've already put in. I'm sorry, but last week I had some technical difficulties when I was configuring something, so I can't show you how to submit a request, but you would go down here, click submit a request, and a form would come up, and it would go through all the questions. But I will select one on the map. It zooms to it, kind of shows you what the problem was, when it was submitted, and if there's any comments that were submitted. Comments can be submitted by the citizens by clicking this button and adding a comment, or by employees. So once the ticket is submitted, the employees will go in their application, and it's broken down into each department, but that was an animal request. I'm gonna go to animal request. First ticket, you click on that, it'll zoom to it, and that's the ticket we were just looking at on the previous screen. So how does the employee go through and update the ticket? They just hit this edit record, come through, scroll down, go to the type. You can change the status, change location. You can go through, there's several notes, assigned to some other tickets, but for time's sake, I'm just going to go down here. I'm going to complete this. Oh, you can also submit comments. So if a request is taking a lot of time, the employees can come in here and say, hey, I went out, and they can submit a note saying, hey, I went out, looked at it, we're taking care of it, it's just taking some time. So they can add a note here, and those comments can be seen by the public on the previous page. I'm gonna complete this task. Once you complete it, you can see on the side it changed colors to green, notifying that that request has been completed. And then you can scroll down to the bottom, and you can send that survey to the citizen if they provided an email address. And I got one more. I just want to show I think this next slide is going to be what y'all will post is the dashboard. So as soon as the ticket is submitted, all these numbers are updated. So it doesn't take any time. So as soon as it's submitted, as soon as it's completed, all these numbers will update. So it just shows you what we've configured so far. But if you go to this next tab, request, you can go through and you can see all the ones that have been completed. I mean, it can be submitted, request category, just goes through all the different categories of what's been submitted. Then you can come over here and see the total requests, average day of, and all this is configurable as well. We can take some of this off too. But also you can go to the survey's results page. Only one survey has been done during testing phase. With that, over. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, that was just a test run so you can kind of see how the Citizen Service Center will work. What we're doing now, we're taking the next 2 months to work on training, because all of our employees that will be using the system will have to be trained. So that will be training will begin this month, November, and then it will go through December 1st, 15th. Is how that will go. And then we will launch the system on January 2nd, 2024. So it's been a process. We've been working on this for about a year just to even get to this point, so we can move forward. It's been taking a lot of data. We've benchmarked with a lot of counties. I don't know if you all remember last year when we went to Fulton County and we met with their service delivery team, their customer service team. But we've also looked at counties similar to our size, like Macon, Bibb, cities like Augusta, to look to make sure that this system will be beneficial to Douglas County. We hope that this system will empower our citizens to be able to have whatever information they need, and also to be able to get their request answered in a timely manner, and also just keeping them up to date with what's going on with any of the requests that they may have regarding service. So at this time, we will yield for any questions.
Any questions, comments? Vice Chair?
Thank you. So exciting, because I do remember when you all took those trips and the questions that we and the prior board was here asking you, because we wanted to see and able to help us to make better decisions. So I just have a couple of questions. One, how will we advertise this once you guys, roll this out? How will we advertise it so that the citizens who come and make comments and who have suggestions will actually be able to know, hey, we now can go to CelebrateDouglasCounty.com to do these things?
And that's part of the training aspect of it. So one of the things that through our communications department and our constituent services team, we will have all of our events, at all of our on all of our websites, social media, we will start to advertise this information, letting know the citizens that this will be going live January 2nd. We'll also use our constituent services team to be our people on the ground, making sure that this information is out in the community to make sure that people know that they can go here, because we're not trying to keep citizens from using any of the avenues that they traditionally have used. Mm-hmm. But we want to encourage them to use this avenue because it will be better for them to get a response quicker. They'll know what's going on with it, and it'll also be a wealth of data for the county. So when we're making those budgetary and policy decisions on the Board of Commissioners level, you'll have the information that I think will be more beneficial to you versus just estimations of, well, I think, this is a big issue in the county, or this is a big issue. If we can encourage citizens, which we will actively try to do, to use this hub, I think it will be better for everyone, because we can just go and pull up a button. It'll show you, as you saw here, what those requests are and what those needs are. But we do plan on doing a very intensive public engagement campaign from the months, probably mid-November through January 2nd.
Yeah, because I think it's really critical. People go to what they know, right? Mm-hmm. So if they're used to calling E911 to ask questions that are non-emergent, how do we now stop them from using E911 to actually, utilizing the platforms that we have in place for them? So I think that's crucial. Number two, the info that we will be collecting, Ed, will we be able to use that as a data repository so that we can, encourage people to sign up for the text, the county texting info? Like when we want people to sign up, right, for the emergency information that we send out by text through the county. We need that information. We need that data, and, we collect those demographics so that we can, get people to.
Yes, so with this system, everything that's submitted and whatever the county staff does, it's all recorded in one place.
Okay, so we'll be able to go in on the back end, pull that information,
Yes.
and I'll utilize it over here.
Yes.
Okay, and then my last question, I'll turn it back over, is, okay, so how will we, as commissioners, know on the back end? Like, there's not, so let's just say there's 8 animal service calls on Chapel Hill Road, and it's for one dead animal, but 8 people have called in for that one dead animal. How are we ensuring that it's not being counted as one separate event each time? That this is accumulated for one event?
So on the map, when they're submitting requests, if you go to your address and you see, because you can submit a request by an address, or you can click on the map and if you see another request already submitted, you can go in there and put a comment. The citizens can put a comment instead of leaving another request.
But it doesn't keep them from leaving a
No, it doesn't
request.
keep them from submitting another request.
But on the back end, how will you know? When you're looking at
We-
the back end data of that, how will you know?
We could just see the location of it
You can just see
and
the
see,
location.
and see what the categories were and what dates they were submitted.
Okay, got you.
So, and then we could go back in and maybe delete those out.
Okay, so
And
that's,
we could also, if y'all would want, could also create a separate dashboard for each commissioner and district, put on your page, and then you can go and see that.
absolutely, I would love that. And for people to be able to come to the Celebrate Douglas County, go to my commissioner page and go and see what updates or what things are going on.
Yes.
Absolutely, would love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I yield.
Anyone else? Commissioner Robinson?
Good morning. Monday morning. Good. Couple things. Ditto the vice chair's comments. I've been talking about a dashboard since 2016. Check the record. I've lived this 20 years ago. One of my first career jobs was Hewlett Packard, rolling out something just like this. Prior to that, I did Malcolm Baldrige. We competed for that. My early career, focusing on process improvement, workflow process. So this is really my world, which is why you've always heard me consistently say, okay, where the data at? This is how it grew. This is how it's developed. Teach statistics. I don't talk about it. That's my experience. So I'm encouraged to see where we are as a government. Private sector is totally different than public sector. 2 different worlds. I get it. So I'm encouraged, like, all right, we're on the right track. We're getting there. And I appreciate, Edward, you guys, and Tiffany, Winnie, you guys' effort to get around this. Yes, citizen satisfaction, customer satisfaction, operational performance, and of course, financial is key. Those are the 4 bigs. And knowing the health of your organization, how my citizens or customers are doing, how my associates are doing, how my processes are going, and of course, financials. Because you're the health. So this is good. So you've got a good foundation. So here's my question. Let it go. Edward, question for you. So did you custom build this, or is this an application? How did you come about this? First question.
This is actually Esri is our GIS provider,
Yep.
and this is a solution provided by them out of the box, and you just customize it to your county or.
Got it. Nope, got it. So you got it. So you can customize it. So back to the data is key. So I get the point solution in time, but will it be able to provide me trends over time? Did you integrate any of the data that you've had already into this system?
Not to this system. Not to this system.
Not yet. Is that the intent, or are we just going to go forward? We're just going forward? Or are you
I
going
think from here on out, we could go forward and start collecting those data points.
Going forward. All right. So over time, we will aggregate this. Third point, again, communication. I don't like disjointment, and I'm always big on communication, because people be in their own bubble sometimes, to Madam Vice Chair's point. And again, one more time, we're still using the same Celebrate Douglas County. We've been talking about this since COVID. And our increase on emails and stuff hasn't really gone up exponentially. People do get data how they get data, or information for that matter. And she's talking about stopping, like she's talking about stopping or perhaps changing behavior. And again, we're still thinking that the world rotates around the government, as opposed to we rotate around our citizens. We have this type of monopoly. We supposed to know what we're about. You're supposed to check in. It's like, no, we serve them. They don't serve us. So I will always challenge that, like, okay, guys, how y'all gonna push this out? How will we push this out? You've got to get, because again, to use this right and to offset that, what, 25 to 30% that Dr. Harley talked about, you do more than one-time post, one-time email saying, hey, look what we got. One-time meeting moment that says, like, gosh, that ain't enough, but I hear you. I get you're going to do all your public engagements. I get it, but it's always the same people come to the public engagement. It's the same people that are connected to our county. But anyway, you get that. I'm in my, they say my last walk. Y'all got this. I'm just putting putting the charge into your spirit. My last thing is, let me see. We can access this back to the board, getting data. So I can access, is it like an extranet, or everybody can see the same thing at the same time? It's two different versions. All I'm looking for.
Yes, we can customize it where internal staff can see different dashboard than the public would see.
I'm not asking you to do anything additional. I'm just asking, does that capability exist right?
Yes, it does.
So there will be consistency of views.
Yes.
If as a board or as a leader, if we want to dig deeper, we can. But we're saying that consistently, the public will see what we see what the public see. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. That's good enough, guys. I think this is sufficient. I appreciate you guys' efforts on this. I know it's been a while. But I appreciate you guys' efforts and stuff. And thank you. I yield, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Alcaraz.
Yeah, just before we walk away. Just quick, just piggybacking off of Commissioner Carthen's comment, because I could just see someone not paying attention to the map and submitting a request and just trying to hurry up and push it through. And now we got two requests regarding the same, as your example did, say a dead animal. We now have that two requests. Can you, or when you type in, I'm just trying to think how to eliminate some of this, that we could put something in there when they type in that address, it shows the complaints right there in that area to where it says, are you making a request in regards to any of these, where they could see that, opposed to if someone doesn't take the time to look at the map.
So when you go to either, like clicking on the map, if you know where, Douglas County, you know where you're at, you can click on the map, or you can search an address as well. Zoom to that address, and it'll show every request that's been submitted in that area.
Okay. I was just trying to, I see her concern as well, is the duplication
Sure.
of requests. You know, it could really mess up those numbers, the data.
Sure.
So, all right, I yield back, Chairman.
Anyone else? Commissioner Robinson.
Yeah, but to that point, guys, you guys are the technology people, but just like the internet, right? We got unique visitors, and when people talk about I've got this many followers, whatever case, isn't there a way to filter that some kind of way? I'm not a technologist, but I mean that's nothing unique. But how will y'all? I mean, it's just something to think about. Like, well, there's got to be a solution to that. To sort of like, okay, what unique visitors, unique tickets versus unique whatever. There's something out there, but I just don't know what it is. But I just want to make that comment. I know there's a solution. I yield, Mr. Chair. We're good.
Thank you. Is the categories, are they limited to short-term things, or like this young man who's looking for a turn lane on Chapel Hill Road, would that be on this list? If not, I can see it get boggled up with long-term projects where you might not could get a true reading for what you're trying to find out.
For this one, this is short term, but me and Wendy are talking about another one.
No, I just, if you put long terms in that, then it could get camouflaged. The other stuff that you're trying to do
Sure.
could get camouflaged within it, but he'd still like to have it. Once he asks for something, he'd still like to know the progress of it. So,
Sure.
Maybe we need to look at for something like that.
That's something like
All right. Anyone else? Huh?
that. Yeah, there we go.
Okay,
Maybe
good.
he's the first shot.
Good.
I just want to say one more thing, Chairman. So one of some of your concerns and questions I think will be very important, and this is where training of staff will be very important to this process, is because staff will have to be the ones that go in and look at these complaints or these concerns or these issues, and they'll have to make a determination, is this the same, issue that was provided before? And I think that's going to be very important for the team to be able to go in and do that. I think that'll help alleviate some of those concerns for some of those issues. So that's going to be very important for us to make sure that everyone is trained, and the team that's looking at the data and analyzing the data has the expertise to be able to go in and make those determinations.
Okay, thank you. Sounds
you.
good.
Thank you.
We will have a I'm sorry.
Excuse
Hello.
me, Chairman.
How
I
are
just
you?
wanted to add one more thing.
Oh.
As Ed was saying, this system is configurable, and I think it's important for the board and the citizens to know that even though this is launching, this is a pilot. So the first several months, we're going to just see how it works. And then we'll be able to go in and make some changes if we realize, oh, this isn't going as smoothly as we thought it would, or maybe we need to change the categories, or whatever it is. So what launches is not going to be the final thing. So it's still a sort of a testing phase. So I just want to make sure, I want to set expectations on that one. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. We will have a Customer Service Champion Award presentation during tomorrow's meeting. Next on the agenda is the meeting minutes. Commissioners, please review the minutes before tomorrow's meetings. We will have 3 proclamations for tomorrow, proclaiming October 16th through October 21st, 2023 as Pilot International Founders Week. That's already passed, isn't it? Proclaiming November 5th, 2023 as Retired Educators Day. Thank you for your service. And November the 1st, 2023 is Operation Green Light for our veterans, and we certainly in today's world want to thank them for what they do. County Administrator, do we have any business to come before the board?
Chairman, we do not have any county administrator business today.
Okay, we will begin with our agenda items. Clerk, please begin with the first agenda item.
Yes, sir. We have 2 grants this morning. Number 6 is authorization for the Sheriff's Office to accept a grant from the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council for training and equipment for the Gang Investigations Unit in the amount of $13,925 with no match, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Lieutenant Colonel Pounds.
And see, I'm not Lieutenant Colonel Pounds. I'm Susan Shahada. I write
Morning.
the grants for the Sheriff's Office and manage the grants for the Sheriff's Office. Oh, I'm sorry, you are here. In May, the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council came out with a RFP for grants under the Safe Project neighborhoods for initiatives within sheriff's offices to address violent crime and gang violence. And you could request grants up to $15,000. It's not a huge grant, but we applied for $495 for our investigations division for equipment and training, and we were awarded the grant. So I'm happy to report
Yes,
that
Wonderful.
been awarded, and we're requesting permission to accept the grant.
Comments, questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 7, approval of a memorandum of agreement with Cobb and Douglas Public Health to award a 2023 through 2024 Community Health Improvement Plan Partnership Grant in the amount of $25,000 to be used to implement the Forever Fit Senior Outdoor Fitness Center that will be located at the Lithia Springs Senior Center with a 100% match of $25,000 to be funded by the Senior Services 2023 budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Dr. Gilchrist.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board. Yes, this is a great opportunity for Douglas Senior Services. As our clerk stated, it will be located at the Lithia Springs Senior Center. This will afford us the opportunity to create an outside exercise area for our seniors and for those in neighboring neighborhoods. Also for our firefighters who are next door. They'll have the opportunity to also utilize this equipment. And we're asking your support in this effort.
Any questions, comments?
Yeah.
Vice Chair Carthen, you have the floor.
Okay, so in total, the grant is 50,000?
The grant is $25,000.
Uh-huh.
As part of their grant, anything, a part of this grant from Cobb and Douglas Public Health, anything over $5,000, you have to have a dollar for dollar match. And so the total cost for the equipment, depending on which option we go with, there are two options. The total cost ranges from $54,000 to $67,000. The equipment will also be ADA, will meet ADA requirements as well. And so it expands our footprint, essentially. At Lithia Springs, right at the moment, we have about a little over 1,000 members in the 2 years that we've been open. And in October, we had, excuse me, almost 2,000 visits for the month. And so our exercise equipment is in high demand, our rooms. And so this will just expand our footprint, also allow the community to utilize the equipment. They already utilize our walking trail. And so this will just add on to the offerings that we have.
So is there a dedicated area at the Lithia Springs Senior Center that this equipment will be installed at?
Yes, ma'am. It's near the walking trails in the back, near the back
Near
parking
the back
lot.
parking lot. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you?
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Robinson?
Good morning.
Good morning.
No, all right, so I was just at the Lithia Springs this weekend with an HOA meeting. So thank you so much. And it's, again, a beautiful facility. 2 years old. It was definitely needed on the east side because there are seniors, and it was pent up demand. And so now we're up to 1,000 members. Excellent.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely excellent. So this equipment, I guess maybe she didn't say it, but it prompted my thought. So it's a dollar for dollar. I did hear that.
Yes, sir.
And it's with public health or through public health? Say that how you.
It's Cobb Douglas Public Health. They have a community health initiative program. And so just on their website one day, I saw that they were accepting applications for this grant. And our team, along with some of the members, we've already were discussing exercise equipment, outdoor exercise equipment. That has been one of the requests for the members. And so the part of the initiative for Cobb is to improve community health, as we know. And so we felt that this was this aligned perfectly with our goals and the demands of some of the members at the center.
No, I get it. And most grants, we have, especially through like transportation, it's 50%, match, 20%, 30%. There are different formulas, and this one is unique because like I hadn't quite heard $1 for dollar in a while. So just it made me sort of like, okay, but I get it. But again, we know what public health is. They're not a funding agency like that. So it allows us to leverage. Hey, look, we got $1, you got $1. Let's try to leverage this. So I do appreciate it, and then I appreciate the intentionality of it and the focus is, look, this is all we can do. But here's some better equipment. Here's how you make this work. So what is the equipment? That's my last question. What will it be?
I knew you were going to ask that question, Commissioner, so I have.
The best you can.
We will have, it just depends on which option we go with, but some of the equipments would be a four-person lower body combo, a two-person air walker, a two-person cross-country walker, a two-person back and arm combo, a two-person accessible vertical press, a two-person accessible lateral pull. And so with the package that's $64,000, it includes 11 units. However, 28 users could use that unit simultaneously. And then package 2, 12 units, 24 users. It allows 3 who use wheelchairs, and that package is $57,736.
I got it.
So the
This is outdoor equipment,
25,000,
though.
yes,
This-
sir, is all outdoors.
I think I got it. I get the essence of it. Okay. Got it. I got to yield the floor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here, yield, sir.
Anyone else? Doesn't require any additional employees?
Mm. That's a trick question. No, it does not. We always need more employees, but no, sir, this does not.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
All right, thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Sounds
I
good.
appreciate you.
Okay, we'll move to our business items. Number 8, consideration of the developer's appeal of Planning and Zoning Administrative's denial of the certificate of preliminary plat for Post Oak Downs subdivision. And this was tabled from October 17th, 2023. Allison Duncan.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners.
Morning.
This item, as Clerk Watson said, was tabled. It has subsequently been withdrawn. The applicant has submitted the request in writing to withdraw from your consideration. So my understanding from Madam Clerk is that you will need to untable this at your meeting tomorrow night, and then we can formally withdraw.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Okay. Number 9. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
This
Vice
is for Clerk Watson, so this will be considered as a new business item, or how will we?
We will put it under business items, and yeah, you will need to take action to untable it. And then I believe, Michael?
Once untabled, then official action can be taken on the matter, and that could be denying it or withdrawing it first.
Okay, so it won't be on the consent agenda, it will just be on the business items.
Then
Okay,
business items.
thank you. I yield.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, number 9 is approval of a contract with Kimley Horn for consultant services for the Highway 92 LCI update in the amount of $145,000 to be funded through a combination of the Atlanta Regional Commission and the Planning and Zoning Department's budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Allison Duncan.
All right, thank you. This is in regard to the Livable Centers Initiative contract on Highway 92. We did present that grant award to you several months ago from the Atlanta Regional Commission. We did solicit for an RFP, request for proposals, that was overseen by the Procurement Department. The selection committee is recommending Kimley Horn to be selected for our consultant with an amount of $145,000. As a reminder, this is federal money, so 80% of that will be funded through the Atlanta Regional Commission as a reimbursable grant, and the 20% is currently budgeted in the Planning and Zoning Department budget. So this is a recommendation of the committee that they be awarded the contract pending the approval of the Board of Commissioners. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Vice Chair Carthen.
Thank you. Director Duncan, have we used Kimberly Horn before?
Kimley Horn has been used, I think, by the Transportation Department more recently than anything for the Planning and Zoning Department. They were also the consultant that completed the Sweetwater Master Plan, but that plan was, the client was actually Elevate Douglas, so the county was very involved in that, but I am familiar with that plan that they had submitted. And then I believe they perform services for the Transportation Department, but I'd have to defer to Director Rana as to exactly what that is.
Yeah, you know, I was just wondering, I thought I had heard that name before, but you're right, they were subcontracted under Elevate Douglas to complete the Sweetwater Master. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And how long will this take?
So we anticipate that we'll spend the remainder of 2023 working through all the contracting details, and then we anticipate getting started first quarter of 2024 with the community engagement, and we anticipate the bulk of the work being completed through 2024. Livable Centers initiative studies are typically about an 8 to 12 month process, and so we anticipate that we should be back in front of you around this time next year with some of the recommendations for your consideration.
A lot of our other counties around us have done these studies, and so I think it's imperative, and it's good that we are doing it too, since we are a part of the Metro Atlanta area. But just for context, since we have new commissioners, can you tell us a little bit about what the LCI is?
Yeah, sure thing. The Livable Centers Initiative was a program that was begun by the Atlanta Regional Commission probably almost 30 years ago at this point. So they basically leveraged transportation funds, federal transportation funds, to do good land use planning, right? Realizing that there's kind of a disconnect if we invest in transportation improvements, but we're not focusing on what we're putting around those transportation improvements. So we have received a Livable Centers Initiative grant previously for the Highway 92 corridor. Around 2007, we did our initial study, and then around 2009, we came back with a transportation supplement study for that. So we have participated in the program, and then the tools that we have used to implement kind of the vision for that corridor were primarily a zoning overlay. So as properties kind of turned over or changed uses, we've been able to capture, kind of those properties and bring sort of the corridor into some updated standards. If you think back, probably 2009 would have been a slow time to start the implementation through a zoning overlay, right? So the Great Recession had set in, and probably for the first 4 or 5 years, it was very slow going in implementing, a lot of the vision of the LCI corridor. In 2019, we worked with a different consulting firm that I'll think of in just a minute, and they did the Lee Road and 92, kind of that node. They sort of did a vision for that, for the Lee Road intersection. And so that is what's given rise to the development that we have in that area, the mixed-use component near the movie studio. And I think it's a good opportunity, since we've started to see, a little bit more of that vision coming online, that we go back to the Atlanta Regional Commission and we say, hey, it's time for us to come back and take a look at this corridor and see how we can kind of go forward in continuing to leverage transportation dollars, and good land use planning. The other thing that has changed since then was the introduction of the Connect Douglas bus system, right? And so one of the things that was essential for us being able to qualify for this grant was the presence of transit service on the corridor. So again, going back to that vision by Clark Patterson Lee, I told you I'd think of it in just a minute, as well as the original 2007 LCI study, we think it's a great time to bring the community back together and to ask, where have we done well? Where have we kind of missed the mark? And really start to knit that corridor back together to achieve that overall vision for the community.
Thank you. I'm hopeful that that explanation kind of helps our other commissioners understand, that transportation can beget economic development. If we do it hand in hand and we do it right, it will be a win-win for the community and for our tax base. So that was the reason why I wanted you to explain that. Thank you so much. I yield, Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Robinson.
Yes, well said, Vice Chair. Right. Transportation begets economic development. Good morning.
Good morning.
To that point, 2007, when, Mr. Chair, one of the first reports I got when we transitioned from Charlie Camp to me was the LCI. It's on my bookshelf right now, the very first report that I read. And when I looked at that, it's like, okay, this is, obviously it's 08, January 09. We're in a different state of being. And again, we started planning, right? And we knew we couldn't do anything. We're in the middle of a recession, hard recession. It still was kicking in. But we did plan. But we never manifested what was in that study. We did some additional planning, nodes, and so forth. But it was, if you looked at it, it's like, ooh, what this quarter could become. But life happens. Right? Eyes go back. Got to adjust. Life happens. So our community, something happened. And they didn't quite get there. So now we've got to evolve. So here we are 15 years later. Now what? So you're extending, but now what? The next 15 years? So it took a 30-year. So to see the manifestation of that. The only reason I'm bringing this up, that government sometimes, it takes time. And we have citizens who complain about corridors. And why are y'all not this? Why y'all not that? And sometimes you're like, look, it's a process. It's a process. It's not overnight. It takes time for transportation dollars. It takes time for transit. It takes time, $600,000, $150,000 for studies. Guys, that's expensive. Now, I know they want to see that stuff overnight, but it's just going to take a little bit of time. You got to work with the corporate guys, the community. Yeah, they got to put money into it. They've got to help. They've got to conform. But I guess in giving that backstory, do we think, are they up for the task for us? I mean, can we retrofit this? And this is where I'm going. This one's been studied. Now you got 5, 6 other corridors. You got Chapel Hill, Post Road. You know, you got other areas that perhaps could be livable communities initiatives. I don't know. Mine is more dense, more concentrated, and I get it, and it ties directly into the heart of downtown Douglasville. But where else could this be applied? Does it only qualify for an area such as that? Because, I mean, you guys, I mean, especially I always tell Commissioner Alquist, okay, for this one, y'all make sure y'all shape this right now, study it, so you can sort of get the character area that you really want. I know where I'm going with this. That area was supposed to be, you know, Savannah Moss and stuff. You look at the pictures and stuff, it was supposed to be designed down the middle of it as it relates to whatever this stuff is in the islands. We never quite got there. But yet, I'm hopefully that on this time we'll actually implement. It's great to have a study on my desk in my bookshelf. It's another to do something with it. Can you answer that for me? Give me some shake.
Sure. So in regard to why this corridor, transit on this corridor has been really a key driver in making us able to apply for this grant. You know, so over the 30 or so years that the Livable Centers Initiative has been a source of funding for local governments, they have changed their priorities, to your point about kind of time moving forward. So having transit on the corridor is going to be essential for any area that we would look to study. The fact that we already had an LCI study in this area and we were looking to update it, I think has also been an advantage. One of the things that we don't talk a lot about when we're making our plans, you know, and we're in front of y'all, is access to sewer. So there's a number of areas of the county that, because of the limitation of the sewer service throughout the county, that's going to really limit, you know, what can be developed there. So to your point, we have heard a lot of the concerns from the citizens about, you know, we don't want to see these uses or things like that going on. But a big thing that is limiting us is where sewer is run in the county. But we've also seen the flip side of that when a sewer line runs somewhere, we may get a certain intensity of development that we haven't previously anticipated or particularly wanted in certain parts of the county. So I think it's all that balancing act. I appreciate the recognition that not only the Great Recession, but the pandemic, right? So just as soon as we're pulling out of the recession, then we go into a pandemic. And that was right on the eve of when our Connect Douglas service had gotten started. That was right in the middle of when we were trying to bring about kind of this node at Lee Road and Highway 92. So it has been implemented a bit through fits and starts. And what was sort of some of the best ideas in the early 2000s, we've had to evolve and we've had to address that. So I think we have a tremendous opportunity on this corridor to set a brand for Douglas County, so that when we look at some of the other corridors, we can take ideas, you know, from the design guidelines and the zoning recommendations and apply them, even if we wouldn't necessarily apply to the LCI to create those as LCI corridors. So we're really looking to kind of set a standard, you know, by which we can elevate, you know, some of our criteria for development in other parts of the county as well.
Well stated. Well done. Thank you. You, Mr. Chair.
What else? Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, number 10, authorization for the Douglas County Fire Department to enter into a fire protection agreement with Centus for the inspection, testing, and maintenance services at multiple locations of portable fire extinguishers at $48.50 each as needed, and fire sprinklers at $286.66 each annually or quarterly, plus a service charge of $48.68 each to be funded by the fire department's budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Chief Allen.
Good morning, Board, Chairman, Vice Chair. This agreement allows Centos to perform ITMs for the fire stations and provide fire extinguisher maintenance for our fire extinguishers. Currently, we're looking at about approximately 7 fire stations and 11 fire extinguishers, depending on the condition of the ITMs and the extinguishers that need to be recharged and serviced.
Okay. Comments, questions? Commissioner Robinson.
Okay, you said maintenance or replace? What did you say?
Just ITMs, which is inspections, testing, and maintenance of the fire suppression system.
Got it. All right, so here's my question, that it began a broader, so right, so we have to do this formal testing, make sure everything works inside the fire station itself, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. What about fire hydrants? I mean, are they all related? Is there a formal maintenance of stuff? throughout
So
the county?
that's something different. The maintenance for the fire hydrants actually fall on WSA. We do inspections of the hydrants. We don't actually flow the hydrants. We just test. We actually just do inspections as far as visual inspections, looking at the foliage and vegetation around the hydrants, if hydrants need to be painted, if hydrants need to be greased, things of that nature. But we don't do any testing of the hydrants themselves.
No problem. Just broaden my thoughts. I mean, all the things, I try to look at a system holistically.
Yes, sir.
It made me just think about it, but duly noted that WSA is responsible for that. That's a side item. But thank you for that. I'm good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Chair, you.
Okay. You know what? Vice Chair Carson, you have the floor.
Chief Allen, is this a new agreement or is this a rollover that you had with Centus before?
This is going to be a new agreement. We're going to be looking at approximately about $2,800 if there's no issues or anything, but it's just going to fall basically on the fire suppression systems of the fire stations and even our headquarters. Now, the fire extinguishers themselves, depending on the condition of those extinguishers, will determine whether or not we need to do anything as far as hydrostatic testing or anything of that nature.
Okay, so this is new. Who were you using beforehand?
I apologize. I don't have that information right now.
Got you. All right.
That was before me.
Not a problem. So this is a year contract, 1 year contract?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're taking it out of your budget?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. No further questions, are you?
All right, anyone else? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Number 11, authorization to execute the contract with First Arriving Digital Dashboard in the amount of $9,819 to be funded by the fire department's budget for 11 dashboard licenses, including setup to provide real-time communication, feedback, and data to personnel, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Chief Allen.
As stated, First Arriving Digital Dashboard is a communication device that provides information throughout all of our stations that will alert our personnel on the activities that go on within the department. It could be anything from road closures to hydrant outages, specific administrative information that we provide to the fire department. It works off of the CAD system that we already have at the stations. So it's better than email, it's better than interdepartmental communications. It's the actual dashboard that pops up on the screen in the stations that will alert the individuals of any information that's going on in the fire department.
Vice Chair Carson.
Okay, so is this public facing or internal facing for you all?
This is internal.
Internal facing. So when you talk about road closures, or previously we had the customer service team rollout, and people are calling E911 about road closures. People are calling E911 about why all the fire trucks or the sheriff's office, going up this road. Is that something that you can put out to the public so that they won't have to call E911 to find out what's going on in their community?
That one would more deal with what our 911 folk will deal with. This right here is just strictly internal information.
I get that it's internal, and I'm glad you're bringing it up. I get it, right? You all want to know who's arriving, who's where, how you are managing, right, coming to. But guess what? We want to know too.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm wondering how we can create some synergy there to kind of make, not that everything needs to be public facing, right? Because we do understand that, what you guys going on. You have a lot more information, where you're sending things, why you're sending them. Some things must be private, right? So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
get that, but there should be a way where the public is aware, why there's, 3 fire trucks and an EMT running down their street. So,
now I know some counties do some type of alert. for certain areas, for certain districts.
Okay.
I will have to do some research to find out what those third-party.
What those mechanisms are that
Yes,
they
ma'am.
utilize to help the public understand what's going on.
Because I do get phone calls and questions.
Oh, I do too.
Not just from the citizens, but
Mhm.
from my board.
Yes, you do.
I get why fire trucks are running down the street.
Exactly.
But it's often difficult to get out that communications for a cat in a tree, just for the sake of argument, or an oven fire compared to a 4-car pileup on I-20.
Right.
We don't get that information until we actually get out there, and how that information gets broadcasted to the
public.
citizens
Mhm.
is something that we will have to do some more in-depth research on.
Thank you. I was just wondering.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Anyone else? Commissioner Robinson.
I mean, to that point, again, I go back to alignment. Everybody's in their silos and they're doing what they need and what they want. I mean, I get it. But I go back to, it's probably more of a county administrator function. Like, okay, who's looking at this whole system? There's information architecture that needs to be aligned. There's financial data that needs to be aligned. I mean, I get it. Service delivery, do what you gotta do. Sheriff, do what he gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. Clerks, judges, everybody gotta do what they gotta do. But who's aligning the whole thing? When you talk about executive decision making, like who's bringing us, the Board of Commissioners, a single view of everything? A new concept. I get for public sector it is because we're too busy delivering for services. We ain't got, but it's somebody has to have the capacity to see across the whole system and say, okay, how can we align, to her point, synergy? How do we leverage this? And not just talk about it, but actually implement something that it's incremental. It'll be over time. I see you guys are doing a great job of trying to bring these to light. Look, you just need what you need to get your work done. And I get it, and I don't want to, slow you down for the sake of but as we're doing this, it has to be integratable. I hear compatible, I hear all that, but who's aligning it all? I mean, I appreciate Edward and that data. You and I are going to talk about artificial intelligence at some point, like before I get out of here. Like, now, how y'all going to do this? You have some things in place, but it's not for you because you're too busy delivering. My point is more for the broad administrator, the broader leadership. Guys, y'all don't see this? Are y'all not overseeing and seeing how this all aligns and how we can leverage this thing, make us more efficient over time? So I don't want to get in the way of you delivering your service because you need what you need right now. But somebody has to have a handle on this, and I'll take this up later. So thank you. I just want to make a comment on that. I have no problem with what you're asking. But Chair, you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
If I can retort real quick, one of the things that a lot of departments are doing, a lot of public safety is doing, is broadcasting incidents through social media. But that's at its infancy right now. There's got to be a bigger platform and bigger medium to alert the citizens, the public, as to what's going on in a broad spectrum without giving them too much of the information, just enough to let you know that this is going on. You may want to divert from the area or do something of that nature. But we're in contact right now, or I am in contact right now with dealing with the different stakeholders that I deal with, Sheriff's Department, hospital, come up with some type of one-stop shop as alerting the public of something massive.
Information architecture.
All right. Next.
Okay, number 12, approval to award a contract to Integrated Construction and Mobility, Inc. in the amount of $134,648 to be funded by the 2016 SPLOST for solicitation 23-027, Fire Department burn building demolition and new foundation construction, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Chief Allen.
Yes, good morning again. So this project went through the bidding process to get a vendor for a burn building, and it just doesn't cover the demolition portion of it, but the foundation. We had competition. It went through the posting locations as far as BidNet, Georgia Procurement Registry, and the Douglas Sentinel. And through the bidding process, this particular vendor through our committee, beat out the other ones.
Comments? Commissioner Alcaraz.
All right, so I had the pleasure of visiting your burn building facility, and it is large with a lot of steel everywhere through there. So this is going to encompass, you know, obviously removing all those, the new foundation with all the new anchors for the what we have that is coming in. Basically, I'm going to call it the Lego set that's being constructed to bring in the new burn building. So that's going to be removing the entire building and its current foundation, replacing the new with a new foundation because that concrete can get rid of after so much heat, and then installing our new burn building. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And they're going. I guess they're going to dispose of all the debris and all that metal. None of it's going to be left there. Correct?
The company is going to do the disposal, and I believe they're doing the contract and pouring of the foundation.
Okay. And if this is awarded, when do you anticipate this getting started?
Probably within the next few weeks.
Okay. All right. I yield, Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Okay. Number 13, authorization to install an advanced warning flasher at Legacy Park Drive at Old Lee Road in the approximate amount of $7,000 to be funded by DOT Department's budget as recommended by the Transportation Committee, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Director Rana.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Board of Commissioners. Upon receiving a citizen's complaint, we investigated the site distance available at the subject intersection. We found that for the left approach, the intersection lacks roughly 165 feet of side distance. In order to bridge that gap of side distance, we're proposing this advanced warning flasher that would warn the incoming residents about any approaching vehicles on Old Lee Road. The $7,000 is a material cost, and we'll be performing the function in-house, and that's why we're recommending the board to approve this traffic calming device. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Commissioner Robinson.
Real quickly, again, that you brought up, Director Rana, which, yeah, this is, Mr. Chair, your administration is responsive. Yeah, y'all turning on this public comment now. Be responsive. You asked for it. This came from a public comment. We acknowledged it, like the gentleman that was here this morning and stuff. And so I appreciate you chronicling and acknowledging the fact to the citizens. We do hear you. Sometimes we're busy at work, but every now and then when you send something in, while we can't always acknowledge everything that they deliver in these meetings, there's a lot that does get done that they do respond to. But I want to thank you for just acknowledging that the government is responsive. Maybe not in the time you take. I mean, it takes time. They have to study. They have to study things sometime. They have to analyze things sometime. It's not just about a pothole going out there and putting stuff in there. But again, I do appreciate your approach to this, and that there was an actual solution. And sometimes there is no solution. Sometimes there's nothing we can do. We looked at it, and it may not be cost conducive. It may not be a fix that's allowable by whatever rules we have to comply with. But nonetheless, most of the time, we're able to work something out to try to smooth things out. Thank you for your work. Mr. Chair, yield, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else? Next.
Number 14, authorization to execute a time extension change order with Georgia Department of Transportation in connection with the Lee Road widening project with no impact to the budget as recommended by the Transportation Committee, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Director Rana.
Thank you. This deals with Lee Road Phase 2 that is currently under construction. The project limits are roughly from I-20 to Fairburn. This is a roadway widening project. Initially, this project suffered some delays due to intergovernmental coordination between the county and GDOT, and later on we encountered significant delays from the utility companies. There are roughly 9 utility companies that have vested assets within our project limits, and relocations have been challenging for all parties involved. Due to those delays, this project was initially designed to be wrapped up by early next year, which was in March of 2024. Due to those initial delays, that is just not feasible anymore. This is the first change order between the county and GDOT that pushes the intergovernmental agreement out by 12 months. So the current agreement expires in November of this year, and this will allow us to continue the funding flow from federal, state to Douglas County and keep the project going. I'll yield for any questions.
Comments? Vice Chair Carson.
Okay, so the reason for this extension on our part is because of,
So there are two reasons. The first is initially this project was bid out in 2020. We ran into a rebid situation. It was rebid in 2021. The initial contract was from 2021 to 2023. Even after 2021, there was a delayed start due to the execution of the contracts. And then when it started in 2022, as you know, we had held our groundbreaking in December of 2022. There were some delays from utility companies to start the project. So both of those factors combined require this intergovernmental agreement to be pushed to next year, which would put us at November of next year.
so you're in communication with the utility companies to ensure that we don't have to continue to push this out? Because this Lee Road project has taken quite a while, and it's continuing to take quite a while, right? And although our constituents are really excited about it and they're being patient with us, at some point we don't want to do these types of things, right? So how are we communicating with those utility companies and letting them understand that, you know, you're part of a bigger picture here, so you can't be holding us up? So
For sure, this project remains our #1 priority. It is definitely one of the biggest projects that we will be delivering for the county. We're in constant communication with the top leadership of each utility company. In fact, I'm meeting with Greystone's leadership just after this meeting today. Everybody's on the same page. The only tricky part about this project is usually you decide on a schedule with utility companies and you hold them to it throughout the length of the project. And that's when we pay the utility companies to relocate. In this case, the utility companies are relocating at their own expense because there were no easement rights found. So it's come to a mutual cooperation where they do business with us and we rely on them for services, and we're working out a reasonable framework where all parties could be satisfied.
thank you. Fair enough. I yield.
Anyone else? Commissioner Robinson.
I'm glad you clarified that. I remember that I was in that meeting with Madam Chair at that time, and with Mr. Miller, the CEO, to give that concession. Like, in other words, we had to pay for that, right? Know the facts. That this is a major project. Yes, sorry for our inconvenience. My sister, I tell them all the time, it'll be okay. But it's gonna take what it's gonna take. And right, you gotta extend it. Some things are out of our control. It's great to say it, but we don't control everything. And we do have to work with others. And so, to your point, this is just giving us an extension, you know, just a time period. Yep, we gotta keep this money flowing. What you don't want to do is mess up this grant. This project has been going on since, what, 14 officially? We messed up that grant. Not you, not anybody here. Like, guys, how'd y'all let a grant lapse? It doubled the price of this thing. Because we waited by the time we redid it. Miguel, your predecessor, refinanced that thing and fixed it. Mr. Chair, it doubled the cost of this thing. So, again, know the facts. Thank you for staying on top of this. Thank you, right? He's bringing this to our attention. Like, all right, guys, y'all don't want this drop. You don't want to miss this. Are y'all listening? So thank you for that. I just want to give clarity. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, next, please.
Number 15, approval of a deductive change order number 4 in the amount of $101,503.61 on the contract with the Corbett Group LLC for Stewart Mill Road at Reynolds Road Intersection Improvement Project, funded through the 2016 SPLOST funds as recommended by the Transportation Committee, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Director Rana.
Thank you. This relates to the 2016 SPLOST project, which is Stewart Mill at Reynolds Road Intersection Improvement Project. The goal of this project was to widen the intersection to add turning lanes for Reynolds Roads and Stewart Mill, and basically ease the congestion at the intersection and ensure safety of all vehicles at the intersection. The SPLOST 2016 had $2.7 million allocated for this project. If the board approves this deductive change order, we will be finishing this project at $2.3 million approximately. We were able to achieve milestones ahead of schedule and under budget, and I think our team did a great job on this project. The change order in front of you is a deductive change order, which is result of our continuous monitoring of the project and our mutual cooperation with the contractor. This accounts for the quantities that were on the contract but were not applied during construction. So it presents us with a savings of roughly over $100,000. And I'll yield for any questions.
Questions or comments? Thank you, sir. Next.
Number 16, approval of change order number 1 with Nova in the amount of $16,055 for the Stewart Mill Road at Reynolds Road intersection project funded through the 2016 SPLOST funds as recommended by the Transportation Committee, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review.
Thank you. This is just continuation of the same project. Nova was our testing firm on this construction project. The increase is due to the excessive testing we had to perform in this project. The geography was very, very challenging for this project, and we had to monitor various unexpected conditions, such as soil conditions, rock encounter. This testing basically helped us analyze the conditions and make the optimal decisions. So we made sure that just the right amount of money was spent to tackle each problem. So this $16,000 accounts for those excessive testings that we need and will need as we close this project out in the next few weeks. With majority of the project open for public, we're still working through some punch list and cleanup items that will be completed within a few weeks. And that is why we're recommending this change order for board's approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments? All right, next.
Number 17, approval of a contract with Summit Construction and Development LLC pursuant to solicitation number 23-030 in the amount of $3,545,303 for construction of the Spine Road project previously approved in the Douglas Ford Reinvestment Plan Phase 1, be reimbursable by TAD, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Director Rana.
Spine Road is a new half a mile of a tangent roadway being added on Fairburn Road. The goal of this road is to serve the movie theater and the Foxfield developments that are currently underway. We advertised solicitation number 23-30 on all appropriate forums. We got 8 responses, and Summit LLC was the lowest and most responsive bidder on this solicitation. They're based out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Our team has previously worked with them before, and there were no complaints. And we are recommending this contract for approval with a completion date of 6 months after the execution of notice to proceed. Thank you.
Any comments, questions? All right, thank you.
And number 18, approval of a contract with the Corbett Group LLC pursuant to solicitation number 23-026 in the amount of $808,620 for the construction of the new Manchester High School sidewalk project to be funded from 2016 SPLOST funds as recommended by the Transportation Committee, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Director Rana.
New Manchester sidewalk will serve to connect Bounty Waters Park with the new Manchester High School. This project is also a 2016 sidewalk project. This was on hold for the most part of last year due to some design disputes between GDOT and Douglas County. This year we were able to resolve all the design issues, acquire all required right-of-way, and we're now ready for construction. This bid too was advertised on all appropriate forums. We received 8 responses again on this one. Corbett Group is a locally based DBE firm that was the 3rd lowest but the most responsive bidder on this solicitation, and that is why we're recommending this contract for board's approval. Thank you.
Okay. Comments? Commissioner Robinson?
Yeah, I mean, I held my comment to the previous question about the Spine Road being cut in. over there by the studio, just like with Foxhall. Nobody's exempt from cutting roads. Right? Whether you got housing or hotels or commercial or lodging, about consistency. At the same point, here we are on 166 in the country rural part. But there's a reason why you put sidewalks. You got a lot of kids over there. You got a very nice school, high school, and you got a very nice mega park. There's intentionality to what we've been doing. I appreciate you staying up on this. It's about operational safety. People come flying through that countryside. Them kids trying to get across the street. Everybody doesn't have to drive everywhere. Everybody don't have to get on the bus. There is some type of independence that we do grow our children at some point. Like, okay, well, you can make it from the school to the park. You can do everything you want to do at Boundary Waters. So there is some intentionality sometimes in what we do. It should be strategic. But my question to you is, how long will it take to put these sidewalks in? That's my question. Now, if you got this done, when is the delivery?
Sir, the contract delivery date is 5 months. It would take roughly 2 weeks to 4 weeks for contract execution and notice to proceed, putting us in November. And from there onward, it would be 5 months for project completion.
Unlike with, is sidewalks the same as resurfacing? It's got to be above 55 degrees, or they can just drop it and go? How does that work?
Sidewalk is easier to work with concrete, so it does not have to be a specified hot temperature, but still, there are some workability concerns that will be worked out on the site and will ensure that it's done within the 5 months of the delivery period.
Again, these are both related. And then one more to the prior question about that lead road. Again, the spine road, when is that going to be delivered?
Within 6 months, sir.
Within 6 months. Got it. So we'll be within our contracts.
Yes, we are putting delivery dates in our
contracts.
contracts.
With them. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Director Rana. Are you, Mr. Chair?
Vice Chair Carson.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. Thank you for being intentional about including the DVE into it. I saw all of the bids. I see the tabulations and the fact that you all were very consistent about you have to turn in your forms and you have to let us know what percentage you're going to be at. And kudos that, this just happens to be a local firm, so that's a plus as well. So I just wanted to say thank you for being intentional. I yield.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Next.
Number 19, authorization to approve task order number 2 in the amount of $116,683.31 with KCI Inc. for design services for State Route 166 Duncan Memorial Highway at Chapel Hill Road Intersection Improvement Project to be funded from the 2016 SPLOST funds as recommended by the Transportation Committee, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Director Rana.
Last one. This was one of the 2016 project also. The goal of this project was to analyze the intersection and recommend operational improvements that helps congestion and ensures safety. The task order 1 was initiated earlier this year. Consultant came back with their formal recommendations, and these were discussed in our Transportation Committee at length. The summary is, number 1 recommendation is installation of a roundabout. This is a high-use intersection with roughly 12 to 15,000 daily users at the intersection, and about 48 crashes over the past 5 years. And roundabout serves the combination of two. It helps operational improvement by reducing the delay time at the intersection, and B, roundabout are one of the most effective methods to reduce or eliminate crashes. Roughly, it proposes roughly 40% reduction on overall crashes and over 70% reduction of fatal and severe crashes. So I'm very supportive of the recommendation, and in part of doing so, it would require a little extra design effort, and the cost of construction would be slightly higher than traditional intersection widening projects, but I think that's what this intersection needs, and we recommend this task order to be approved by the board. Thank you.
Any comments or questions? Vice Chair, you have.
Thank you. To your point, yes, it may be a little more costly, but when you compare that to saving lives along that corridor, it is invaluable. So that little bit of cost that we incur will help to save, I think, more lives than we can possibly imagine. Yes, that when 166 in Chapel Hill, you'll see all the cars going up Chapel Hill, blocking people's driveways. And so this is much needed. I'm so glad to see that we are entering, the second phase of this, and just can't wait to see this actually come to fruition. So thank you. I yield, Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right.
Thank you.
That concludes our agenda items.
Are there any other commissioner comments?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson.
All right. So just two parts. One is financial oriented, and the other is legislation oriented. Is Director Miller, CFO out there? Director Miller?
Good morning.
Good morning. So just real quick, two questions regarding the budget process. It was my understanding that today would have been the first day that we would have gotten, the budget would have been presented to the board. My understanding that schedule has now shifted. Can you officially establish when that will be presented to the Board of Commissioners?
So, November the 7th, the public will receive the budget. November the 7th, the board will also receive the budget. And then I believe, and I may need help with my dates, I think November the 14th is the public hearing. And then December the 5th is the adoption of the budget. So the board will receive the budget on November the 7th. And discussions will be, or changes or amendments from November the 7th through December the 5th.
Got it. I'm processing. Got it. So November 7th is not that we're meeting on November 7th, which is election day. You're just saying this communication is going to go out to the Board of Commissioners as well as public.
That is correct.
But then you also remember, by policy, this also has to come before our finance committee. I did not hear that on the schedule. So will that be, yes, that's going to be our 13th meeting. This based on your time frame. So we got time. So
yeah, that's fine. That would be November the 13th. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
yes.
We
could put that. We can add that to the agenda.
You have to. It got to be compliant with policy. Have to. So I'm making a point. All right, got that. So I'm lining up the dates. So, Madam Clerk Watson, you got those dates?
Yes, sir.
And that aligns with you as far as publication, legal organ. I know y'all are. I'm just saying it for the record.
Yes, we've already done the advertising with the Sentinel.
Right, which brings me to my next point. How are we doing with our audit?
Our audit, it's coming along. I anticipate being complete in about 6 weeks.
Okay, so we're still getting back down to the end of the year. Is it resource space? What's needed?
Yeah, it's resources, and then you have to understand at this time, due to the extension at this time, we have our budget going on, and usually we don't. Those are like our two top all hands on deck is usually when we have our audit and then our budget, and they're never during the same time. We have our audit from January through June, and after June once June the 30 it's complete, then we start the budget process. But we have two big items that we're doing at the same time.
No, and to your point, right, January through June, what I thought would have been done with the audit by then.
That is correct.
Which is why we had an accelerated budget process to not wait until December. I mean, the goal was to shift everything up, so we didn't have to wait till the very last month to vote on the budget. But it's okay. I life happens, and one more time,
Yeah,
life
things
happens.
happen, right?
And
yeah.
so, but duly noted. So here we are. So, but we got to get that audit done
That
by
is
compliance,
correct.
and we have to adopt a balanced budget by law. Making my point. Both are non-negotiable. They're not even debatable. We must have those things done, and I'm just looking forward to that we have adequate time to take a look at them. All right, my last point, which is related. Thank you, Ross. You're good. I'll let you go for that. County clerk is regarding legislation, which again, appropriation is a legislative matter. A resolution has to be passed in order to approve a budget. So Lisa, I know, Madam Clerk, I had 3 items that I wanted to put on the agenda. I took it off, obviously, because you need to again go through your formal process of legal organ. There's the vice chair amendment to that from last time that we passed it, to clean up. There is county attorney, not county attorney, it's called attorney fees. How do we have no attorney fees? In other words, we have an insurance policy, but we don't have a policy that overlies that insurance policy. And so this is something that we've been working with the county attorney with, and we're going to try to really have something in place. And the last thing is, how do we deal with replacement of commissioners? Whether permanent or temporal, and having a policy in place one more time. What have we been doing for 20 years that we don't have some of this basic stuff in place? Amazing. We spent a lot of money, but yet I'm like, okay, this stuff is, what? There's nothing in place? And so y'all know I don't mind doing heavy lifting and doing real work to put stuff in place so the future generations don't have to deal with this. So, Madam Clerk, do you have the timeline for that? Will it be able to align with the budget process? Because I wanted all to land at the same time. Lisa?
These look to be policies and or resolutions, so they will not have to be advertised with the legal organ.
Ooh, so we can make the date of, next meeting or the following meeting. So it could be the 13th, 14th, or to her point, what, 4th and 5th? Next 2 meetings?
Correct.
Yeah, I think we're good. So since there doesn't have to be, I got it. I won't push it any further. To the Board of Commissioners, you guys do have a copy of these ahead of time. You can take a look at them. There is a formal process for which we would do debate and amend it, but duly noted that we don't have to put in a legal organ. Got it, Madam Clerk. Thank you for clarifying. Mr. Chair, I yield, sir.
Anyone else?
Chairman?
Mr. Alcaraz.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know if anyone else has, but to give an update in regards to our deputy who was shot last Wednesday. I did take him lunch to his house, spent some time with him after he come home. He is in good spirits. He is doing well. Thank God for the equipment that he had on that day, which saved his life, and glad that the Lord was watching over him that day. But just to let our citizens know, he is doing very well, and spoke with him almost on a daily basis, but he's doing good, and I'm proud of our sheriff's department and our fire department, everyone who stepped in to do what they need to do to ensure that he's still with us today. I just want to let our citizens know. Thank you, Chairman.
Anyone else? Hey, as many of you know, I spent a little time at the sheriff's office over the years, and what happened the other day is tragic. We, for those of you who don't know, we had a deputy shot twice in his vest and once in the shoulder, and he is recuperating at home, and he's going to be just fine. And he's also one of my dear friends, so it hits close to home. We had a deputy killed back in, I believe, 2003 on my birthday. But it's like losing a family member, and that's a close-knit family, and I'm so proud of what they do every day to protect us and this community. All of us ought to be proud, and we ought to support them 100%. That just, Commissioner Alcaraz, that just touches my heart, and thank you for bringing it up. Anyone else? All right. Do we need to go into executive session?
Mr. Chairman, we do need to go into executive session for litigation and real estate matters.
Wonderful. Okay.
Chairman, I make a motion that we go into executive session for litigation and real estate matters.
Second.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same. We are in executive session,
And adjourn the meeting.
and we adjourn the meeting.
Real quick, point of order?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Madam Clerk, so does the Board of Commissioners come back tonight?
Yes, we will have a planning and zoning meeting, joint BOC planning and zoning meeting tonight
Can you
at
clarify-
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Can you clarify why it's not on normal Tuesday versus on today? Because that, just for the record, in case people missed the point that, no, you need to be here today, not tomorrow.
Yes, sir. We had originally developed the schedule due to trick-or-treating tomorrow night, Tuesday night being Halloween. We had moved the meeting to Monday rather than Tuesday.
So it was already pre-published, we didn't just do this.
Correct.
Thank you very much. I yield, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We're done. We're in executive session.